Okay, so weird thing here. Days Gone Remastered shipped on PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 5 Pro in a kind of incomplete state. Obviously, you did have various modes, but what you didn't have was a balanced mode, a 40 FPS balanced mode, nor was there VRR support. This has now been added to the game, and I decided to take a look at it, specifically because behind the scenes we're developing VRR capture and logging tools, and you'll get to see a bit of an early preview about what we're doing here. Let's kick off by taking a look at the PlayStation 5 version of the game. PlayStation 4 version you can run on PS5 still at 60 frames per second. Anyway, the balance mode on the PlayStation 5 renders at 1800p resolution with a target 40 frames per second. And you can kind of see that here. You can see that here with some capture that I've done, which is not only using the 40 FPS balance mode, but is also using the 40 FPS unlocked VRR mode, which essentially varies according to the complexity of the scene. Overall, across this whole intro run, I see a 10% increase to performance overall. Will you notice the difference? Possibly, but it's not exactly a game changer. But the balance mode on PlayStation 5 Pro, we'll talk about that in due course. Really, for the PlayStation 5 version, it's VRR is about... you can use that on all of the modes, by the way. VRR is probably best used on the performance modes, though. And a game that was locked to 60 frames per second essentially runs now within a 60 to 80 frames per second mode. So you will get frame time advantages from that. You will get lowered input lag, which is a good thing, but it's going to be variable. And at its worst, if you like, it will still be in the 60 frames per second region there. So, I'm using this horde mode visualization here, and it's in the 60s, not a huge gain. You won't be able to tell a big difference there. But, I guess from an input lag perspective, just not being beholden to VSync is probably going to have a nice boost there. So that's the PlayStation 5 version. The performance mode... the problem there is it is quite blurry compared to the 60 FPS PS4 version, which had checkerboard 4K. Not much to say about that. It is nice, I guess, a nice little bonus. Not a huge thing for the balance mode, though, running unlocked, and even less for the quality mode, which can also be unlocked. One thing that is a bit annoying, though, is that the VRR toggle has to be done at the system software front end. You can't change the VRR in-game as you can in the Insomniac titles. So that's a bit annoying, to be honest, because there are scenarios, particularly with the quality mode, where I probably want to have a consistent 30 FPS as opposed to an unlocked VRR 30 to kind of 35. It's the way that sort of works out. PlayStation 5 Pro is quite interesting, though, because what I have done here is unlocked performance on all of the modes, and I'm running it on the intro sequence here. So there's interesting stuff to see how it actually changes across the various modes. There's a similar kind of 60 to 80 FPS performance uplift for the enhanced VRR modes, and the performance modes can go up to 90 in very, very rare scenarios, like looking up at the sky or specific cutscenes, that kind of thing. But you can also see there that on the quality VRR, you're trading 30 frames per second locked to 30 to 40. It's not a big deal, but the balanced VRR mode is actually really interesting. And I'm not quite sure what to make of it. I might ask you to weigh in on this one, Alex. But the balance mode, according to Ben Studio, it's rendered at 2160p, a 4K output with PSSR. So what's the deal there, do you think? Do you think they're using PSSR strictly for anti-aliasing?
That's what it sounds like.
That's what it sounds like, doesn't it?
That would be an... Have we seen PSSR AA yet in any title?
I don't know.
I can't recall that.
I might have to put in a question to Sony about this, because it's quite interesting. But the more interesting thing about it is that, unlike balanced mode VRR on the base unit, this is running up to 60 frames per second. which is
Well, I don't know what this
interesting.
is. And then at that
Yes.
point, well, I mean, I always felt like that 30 FPS mode on the PS5 Pro did seem a bit extreme to have a frame rate cap that low for essentially what.
Well, that was running at 5K, the quality mode.
Oh, that's
so it's
that's
probably,
maybe yeah. Wow.
yeah. This is 2160p apparently with PSSR, but unlike the base PlayStation 5, which only gave you like a small increase, this is actually what I would describe as possibly the most optimal experience because it should be the highest resolution of the performance modes, so to speak. And it's running, I'd say, how can I describe it? Mostly at 60 in the campaign content. But when you start introducing hordes and stuff, it goes, like 48, maybe 48 to 60 FPS window. It does seem to be capped at 60, though. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but it's actually a really interesting mode at that point. It's kind of like
awesome.
it may even be the preferred way to play.
That's cool.
Interesting stuff. Yeah. So that's an interesting addition that I wasn't expecting to see, and I'm still not quite sure whether it is actually working to specs, which we will find out. But that's the lie of the land as it is at the moment. And an interesting addition to Days Gone Remastered there. And yeah, everything can be unlocked on it, but as I said, it is a bit annoying that you can't change the toggling game.
Yeah.
But that's the lie of the land there. Thoughts, Alex?
Well, I'm a little baffled by this release in general, but
Right, yes.
yeah, I was so confused. I remember when this was like leaked, and I'm pretty sure we had a conversation about this in Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered, where we were just like, these games are not old. I don't understand this. Whatever. This is more like a port with some changes, like the PC version was, it's respectable, I guess. But this usage of PSSR is interesting. I don't find the unlocked modes extremely interesting on the PS5 base, but as you describe it on the Pro, I actually think this interesting balanced mode where you're getting a higher res and the VRR experience, presuming there are no frame time fluctuations. Oliver maybe mentioned that. I don't think he did. But oh, no, wait, he did mention there was some sort of frame time fluctuations in his review.
Well, there is this systemic issue with VRR on PlayStation consoles, and Oliver did a pretty great job in highlighting that in a video we put out a while back. The way it sort of manifests is like this. Essentially, you get 20 minutes of good VRR gaming, then certain games will begin to stutter every 8 seconds. And yeah, unfortunately, Days Gone Remastered is affected. And actually, with our new VRR capture tools, we can track it. So check this out. Check out this capture. Now, on a VRR screen, an actual VRR screen, if you have refresh rate monitoring on your on-screen display, it will blip from the current refresh rate, which in this case would be around 75, 77 hertz, to 120 hertz. And I reckon it's momentarily dropping out of VRR there. But on our capture-based system, this blip to 120 hertz, this dropout of VRR manifests as like a 25 millisecond frame time spike. So in high frame rate mode here, well, the enhanced mode in DGR, basically by keeping frame times well below 25 milliseconds, you'll see those spikes to 25 milliseconds when that stutter kicks in. And then we can programmatically track them for this visualization. That's where that stutter indicator in the bottom right comes in. Every time there's a spike, we can isolate it. And yeah, it is pretty much an 8-second gap exactly between stutters each and every time. So it's going to be difficult for you, the audience, to see that in this video because we're converting a 120 hertz VRR signal into a non-VRR 60 hertz capture for you. But the metrics are sound, and it's clearly visible on a VRR screen during gaming. And yeah, I think it's going to be there on every VRR mode. But the lower the game's frame rate, maybe the less noticeable it will be. But certainly on unlocked high frame rate performance modes like this one, it's there and it's an issue. And that's kind of frustrating, right? Because the whole point of VRR is smooth gaming. And because of this systemic issue on PlayStation consoles, you're not getting that smooth gaming. So when Oliver did that VRR video back in the day, we did share our findings with Sony. And it's somewhat frustrating that we're still having this issue. It's been there pretty much since PS5 Pro launched. Anyway, that's my griping out of the way, and that's as much of our new VRR workflow as we can share at the moment, so I guess we should just move on, right? Days Gone Remastered. I mean, I guess I'm just happy we've got a new product from the mega-talented Ben Studio. Alex, what do you think about that?
Once again, I'm just a little confused. I hope this means that I don't know what Ben's doing, but I hope it means they're at least working on like a new game that we'll see some point in the next 5 years. So. It doesn't need to be this series. I think this game, from what I understand, I didn't beat it, but I understand that the ending isn't like some sort of open-ended, we need a sequel kind of thing. Rather, it would be good to see their talents. John's video back in the day made this game look really good. I know it had some issues at launch in terms of performance.
Yeah.
And
not too bad, though.
Yeah, but it has maybe some like, I don't know if it was
some
like
bugs.
Some bugs. That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't performance. It was bugs.
Yeah. Oh, it was the pre-release version that was not performant. That's what it was. Like when you you went to a demo of it, John. I remember that. But this game looked really good. I think it was maxing out the PS4 really well. And it was UE4 in a way that wasn't distracting, right?
In a way that didn't annoy you.
Yeah, it didn't annoy me too much. Right? Yeah, the PC version was pretty good too. So, and they introduced that really awesome menu, if you recall, the real-time editing menu. Still glorious. I'm very proud of them for that. But yeah, let's hope Bend are working on something else at some point.
John?
I always wondered if this remaster is the result of mistakenly trying to remaster The Last of Us again, and then halfway through development they realized, whoa, it's the wrong zombie game, and then they just decided to release it anyway. Plausible? No?
I think this is plausible.
I've heard worse in the games industry in my time, but probably not.
Yeah, I mean, those modes are cool. I'm glad they did that, because it does provide some additional value over, because I'm still a little puzzled by this release, to be honest, because I felt like just playing the PS4 version on PS5 was good. It was 60 FPS. Yep. It looked great, right? And the checkerboard solution they had was awesome. It was good image quality. So, like, okay. And you have the PC version as well, which is like one of the only really good UE4 games out there on PC. Yes. So that was good too. And a lot of fans seem rather not happy with the lighting changes either.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, the whole release is a little bit weird, I must admit, but at least now we have some performance updates and some image quality boosts that weren't possible with the old version on PS5. So, I mean, hey, I think, is it like a $10 upgrade? I forget.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's also free on PC. We didn't cover the PC version, but there was a lot of talks of at launch of regressions in terms of performance. I have yet to load it up. That may be the case. I can't comment on that completely. Bad. But I'm a little bit surprised that you heard that people were happy with the visual, the lighting changes. I thought the way Oliver demoed it looked pretty okay.
Just reading around online, right? Whatever. That's just general opinions that I've seen repeated a few times where people didn't like the new lighting changes. But hey, that's not atypical of a remaster situation, right?
No.
Not everybody likes changes to things, and that's okay. The original's still there.
Fair enough. The bottom line is, it is only a $10 upgrade. The old version doesn't disappear. It is still there. I think, Oliver did a great job in his video of describing the differences that are brought about by the enhanced version. But I do agree with you that, the old version was still pretty good. The 60 FPS was really good. And the checkerboarding, said it the last time we discussed Days Gone, but it is one of the best implementations that we saw on the PS4 Pro, and it's obviously there on the PS5 as well. I guess it's nice now, certainly for the PS5 Pro, that there is a bit more of its horsepower being deployed, especially with that balance mode, assuming it is everything we think it is, or everything Sony Ben says it is. So I guess, $10 can't really go wrong. It's not as if the old version goes away either.